Yeah. Yes. I'm on right now. I'm on. What? I'm not sure.
Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Morning, good morning. How y'all doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. Hey, welcome to another edition of Build Your Best Life. You know, Coach Deborah Smith, Build Your Best Life, and conversation with the guys. And today we're going. It is a good one. You know, we're going to be talking about what a boy a man. What made a boy a man. And before we get into our conversation and doing what we do, I just want to say hello to everybody, that's on today. And I want you to, just give just a little bit of a synopsis of who you are and the whole 9 yards, so everybody can, know who's on today. And I'm going to start with you to my right. You go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll go all the way down, from you to Dr. Levette, to my man down there in the corner, Mr. I call him Mr. Enforcement, Deacon Dan Smith.
So okay. Hi everybody. My name is Derek Durden. I'm a spine author, speaker, and my whole message is about helping young individuals not make the same mistakes I made. So my three principles are education, inspiration, and motivation. And so that's what I do. I share my story in order to educate, motivate, and inspire individuals to make better decisions than I made.
That's some good stuff right there. Appreciate and definitely, thanks for being on with us this morning. Good stuff.
It's a privilege to be on the stage with three doctors. So,
but you know what? We're blessed to have you here today. And I know you're going to give us some, great insights on, what you feel in the whole 9 yards on this subject and the topic that we're going to be discussing. Okay, down in the corner down there. What's up, Doctor? How you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. As always, I'm always honored and privileged to be part of this platform. Because I'm Joseph Levette. I'm 32 years retired military, Army. I'm married to the lovely Tony Levette. We have 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 boy, 10 grandchildren, a whole lot of them. We got a lot of grandchildren. But yeah, we have 10 grandchildren. I am a chaplain at Memorial Hospital here in Jacksonville. And also I teach in seminary. I teach in the doctoral program in seminary. So busy life, but I love my life. So a little bit about me.
All right, thank you for being on today as well, sir. Definitely missed talking to you the last time they had it. I wasn't there either, but I heard it was a great set. Okay, Deacon Dan Smith, how you doing today, sir?
I'm great, and how are you all? Well, I'm Dan Smith, retired law enforcement, 40 years. I am the husband of Deborah D. Smith, the author of Build Your Best Life. We have 4 kids and 7 grands. And also has 2 businesses, a lawn service and a handyman service. I just took that up after I retired. I wanted something else to do, so you always be a adventurer and you always continue to learn and do different things. But it's a privilege to be here with you guys. I miss you 2 guys, Dr. Levette. But it's a great day.
Okay, great. I'm just going to say, I am Coach Dr. Kevin Wilbon. I'm an athletic coach. I'm an author of 4 books. I'm also a military veteran of 24 years, retired. I'm an educator and motivational speaker as well. And I'm just so happy that Coach Deborah Smith, had faith in me to have me, host, her show, because it's a great one and it's definitely delivering some great messages out there. Mainly, for single, women with kids, and especially, women that has young men. So this is a great platform for anyone to watch and make sure you tune in and make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to her channel, please. Get her book and subscribe to her channel. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move forward, with our topic today. And our topic today is what makes a man a boy. Okay, I'm sorry, what makes a boy a man? I'm sorry. What makes a boy a man? Okay, the 7 stages of manhood. The first one is infancy, then boyhood, adolescence, young adulthood, middle age, early old age, and later old age. Okay, all right. Now, guys, this is what we're going to talk about first. It's stage 4, which is young adulthood. The stage 4, when young adulthood, is when a boy becomes a man. Do you believe that? Is that something that you believe, Dr. Levette, that in stage 4, a young adulthood, when a boy becomes a man, is that when they become a man?
Well, I think it's when a boy should have transitioned from a boy to a man, because when you hit that, let's say around that 18-year age and you graduate high school, you gotta be ready to start making manly decisions. Because if you go off to college or you go into the military, you can't no longer be the boy no more. You ain't got your parents there to guide you as much and make sure you do this and do that. You got to be able to do all those things on your own. You got to make sure you get up every day and go to class, or get up every day and go to work, or whatever you got to do. So yeah, I think that at that stage you should already have transitioned to being a man.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, Deacon Dan, what do you think about that?
Well, I have mixed emotions on that. It depends on how far you develop. When you become a young adult, you're saying 18, uh, how responsible you are, or how you handle different situations. So it's a, I'm gonna say 50-50 on that, because if you're not handling responsibilities, you just your decision making is not good. You hadn't reached that manhood yet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put it 50-50.
Okay, good, good. Okay. And what about you, Dirk? How you feel about this?
And just to put the fourth level into perspective, the young adulthood is normally characterized by a young man learning to become independent. That's the age where he just started to really, he's the teenage years is where you kind of like begin to grow your identity, but in that agehood, that's when you actually take that and then try to become independent. And so, do you actually become a manhood at that age? It's possible, but like anything else, it's all depending on the circumstances, your childhood. The other steps before that are only building blocks, or only foundational to that period, that fourth stage. And if the young man has had those foundational blocks built up correctly, then yes, he will become a man within that age range. But if he hasn't, then 9 times out of 10 he won't.
Okay, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Great to hear that. Okay. Society dictates different rites of passage for events at various ages. The powers to be tell a young man what age they can get a driver's license, they can purchase alcohol, enter the military. Okay, in your guys' perspective, what makes a boy a man when it comes to those things? What make a boy a man when it comes to those things? I'm gonna start with you now, Deacon Dan.
Well, as far as a driving license, most driving licenses are operated driving license issued at the age of 16. So I know, at that
Right.
particular point now, I don't, he hadn't become a man then. Uh, Purchase of alcohol, I don't know. Some states, most states, I think is 21.
Right.
You know, uh, at that particular point now, we do know some guys look older, and they've been purchasing alcohol when they was 15, 16, 17 years old. You know, do that contributes to being a man? No. Because I know I purchased alcohol when I was coming up. I wasn't but 16 years old. They didn't ask me
Right.
no questions. They didn't ask me for no ID. You
Right.
know? So was I a man? No. I still, uh, I'm still in the growth of becoming one, but I wasn't one then. In the military, I think it's what is it? After you graduate from high school, had to be what, 17, 18 before you go in the military.
Yeah.
So, once you get in there, you probably go in as I'm gonna say, well, you guys go in there as they get away from home. I've heard several different, scenarios. Uh, to get some discipline. A lot of I hear a whole lot of that. Yeah, you need to go in the service so you can get some discipline because you won't have none. So if you ain't got no discipline, then that make I know you're not a man then. Man got to have discipline. So I'm gonna go along with that some of that, and but that don't, if those issue in those different stages there, that really don't make you a man.
Got you. Got you. Okay, Derek, how you feel about that?
Okay, just putting it into perspective, society uses the measurement of age to allow us to do certain things. But we all know, especially us who have experience in life, we know that age is not the determining factor of when you become a man. And if I was to make a statement that say what really determines when you become a man, is when you start accepting and become efficient in your responsibilities. That's when you become a man. So if we go like we can't go by society standards of 16 to get a driving license, 18 to be this, 21 to buy alcohol. So we can't use society standards because it's not effective. It's not efficient. That's not the true measure of a man. A true measure of a man is, like I said, when you become to the point to be efficient, effective in your responsibilities, no matter if it's being a father, no matter if it's being a husband, no matter if it's being a businessman. So for me, that's my take on it. Society standards just doesn't measure up.
Most definitely, most definitely. Everything you said is definitely true. Okay, Dr. Levette, how you feel about that?
Yeah, I say, yeah, society determinations definitely don't make nobody a man, because you can be, you can start drinking at 16. You might not start drinking till you're 30. You can start smoking at 18 or whatever it is to buy cigarettes, but so none of that makes you a man. I know some people, some young men do that to make them think that that makes them look like a man. So they take on those the world perspective of what it takes to be a man. But what they'll realize in life that don't equate to them being a man. My answer to that is kind of almost similar a little bit to Derek's, but what I said was that what makes you a man is when you can take full responsibility and accountability for your life. That is when you become that is when you can become a man, because until you can do those two things, you're gonna always look for a way out, or you're gonna always look for somebody to get you out. But when you're responsible, you're accountable, then you take you take it on yourself and make it happen.
Okay, good, good stuff. Yeah, I also feel that to add to that, in becoming a man, I feel that it's someone that challenged in themselves. They challenge themselves. They seek ways, stepping out of their comfort zone, pushing themselves to do more, to grow more, and to be more. So, responsibility and accountability is definitely something that's in that realm. And as far as the military, I went in at 17 years old, straight out of high school, and I ended up staying there for 24 years. And I've seen guys in the military that still ain't men. So just because you go into the military does not make you a man.
Right.
So I would not tell anyone, well, go in the military, that'll make you a man. Does it help you become responsible? Yes. Have accountability depending on who you are and what you do when you're in there. So and Dr. Levesque can attest to what I just said, because we had a whole lot of people that was in the military, but they didn't belong there, and they didn't act like they should have been there, and they was just acting just like a boy, than being a man. So military does not make you a man, but it does help you with responsibility and accountability, and it can make you mold you into a person that can become a good man or a great man. So moving on, with all things considered, is the deciding factor of going from boyhood to becoming a man determined for each boy individually. So going from boyhood to becoming a man determined for each boy individually. Is that something that's true, or is that something that, we need to discuss? And I'm gonna start with you on that one, Derek.
Of course, it is definitely individually. I mean, because you got to know and understand that the factors that determine the process or how fast a young man goes through the process of becoming a man. One is his environmental factors, the things, the places he's been. Another thing is the things that he's experienced, because some things that a young man may experience in the hood, the next young man grew up in a nice neighborhood won't experience. So those things definitely affect his process and how fast he goes through the process of becoming a man. And then you
Exactly.
got to also have, there's genetics, there's a household. Was his father there? Was his father not there? Was his mother a single mother that had to work 2 or 3 jobs and was never there to actually be there to nurture him? And so there's a lot of different factors. So definitely, most definitely, it's all individually because each young man's process of going from a boy to a man is very different.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, Deacon Dan, how do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, it's true. Each individual, based on individual, have different characters, and when those characters develop in one, some might develop faster than others uh, because of certain situations. You ever hear them say, "Yeah, I had to grow up fast because I was without a father, or I had a single mama, and so I had to grow up fast." And and some young men has become a man early. I've seen them come early, become a young man because of the decision and the responsibility that they have on themselves. Uh, they take on responsibility as being a male figure in their family because they have to, cover their sisters and brothers. And yeah, I feel that each one is individual, and develop ones from a boy to a man have to be a decision of where are you at each individual, how are you standing, your responsibilities, uh, you know, accepting responsibilities, uh, I guess recognizing certain things on demands, and know, finding a guide. So, those things, they, like I said, they come individual. They're not a group thing. They're not an age thing, but it's an individual thing.
Okay. Thanks for that. Okay. Dr. Levette, how you feel about that?
Yes, absolutely, it is individual, and I think one of the areas that it really starts is as far as how fast or how regular or however you become a man. Yeah, a lot of that it starts with your upbringing, how you was up, how your upbringing started out, how you was raised, what kind of morals and values was instilled in you, what kind of things were you taught as far as being a man. That's why it's always important, no matter what. You can be and that's the thing. And sometimes it is somewhat of a myth that it take you longer to be a man when you raised by a single mother. That's not always true, because as a young man, if you got the right guidance in your life, you got a mentor, you got that uncle, you got that mentor, you got that, you got that cousin, somebody that steps in, that can help you learn the things of what it takes to be a man. So I think it's an individual thing. Yeah, some going to become men sooner than others because of those factors, that upbringing, where you was raised at. Because sometimes we're the product of our environment, and we may think that being a man is being out there smoking weed. And if I smoke weed, drink beer, and at 14, then I'm a man. But
Right.
but none of that makes you a man. That just makes you an experiencer. So you just experiencing life. So I mean, it's all, I think, contingent upon how you raised and then how you're mentored into becoming a man.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And, saying that it is individual, it is, depending on the person's situation, the person's upbringing, the person's environment, all that plays a big part in becoming a man. And it varies, and it is individual, from person to person. So you can't just pinpoint, okay, this person is a man because of this or because of that. Everything has its stages, and everything that each one of you guys said made a whole lot of sense. And I hope who's ever listening, please take heed to that, because it is an individual thing in becoming a man. Okay, I want you guys to name me one quality that is essential for the transition to becoming a man. One quality that is essential for the transition to becoming a man? I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Levette.
Humility. If I had to give you one word, I would say humility. Because if you're humble, then that allows you to have a willingness to learn from other men, from real men, It allow you to learn and open your heart up and allow you to be taught. So humility is always a big thing. You got to humble yourself, not start smelling yourself. Because, young boys, when they start getting a certain age, they start smelling themselves. So, but if they humble enough to listen, then because if you humble, you can be mentored. No matter what your situation like at home, whether it's a single mom, whether it's grandma, big mama, or Medea, whoever raising you, don't matter who raising you. If you humble enough and be willing to receive from some of the real men in your family or within your community, you can still become a man.
Okay, good stuff. Most definitely, most definitely. Okay, Dirk, name me one quality that is essential for transition and becoming a man.
If I was to choose one quality, it would be emotional intelligence. Because life is gonna throw stuff at you. It don't matter if you grew up in a nice neighborhood, a bad neighborhood. Life is gonna throw things at you. Whether it's death, whether it's financial situations, there are gonna be things that happen to you. And if you have emotional intelligence, in order to really go inside yourself and be introspective, and to internalize those things and not look at it from a perspective of, oh, life is happening to me, but life is happening for me. When you get to that perspective where you can really look at life and not be a victim, it can't be everybody else. It can't be the government. It can't be everything outside of you. Like you said, like it was previously said, you become a man when you take responsibility and accountability, and that ties in with emotional intelligence. You got to know and understand that, hey, it's gonna happen. Things are gonna happen, but it's up to me how I respond to them. And in that becoming emotional intelligent, you take these things in, you internalize them, you go through, you break them down, and then you present yourself back to the world as a whole individual and not a piece of an individual. And that way you can handle these situations that's coming back in a mature and developed way and show and that's how you prove your manhood right through that.
Most definitely. Good stuff. And just to add just a little bit to that, controlling his thoughts and desires and behaviors ties into emotional intelligence, So that was one of the things that I was going to say. And me and you on the same wavelength when it comes to that, because that's a very big and intricate part of becoming a man. Okay, doctor, I always call you are a doctor, as far as I'm concerned, Deacon Dan Smith.
Well, I'm going to take one, and that's accepting responsibility. You got to take on what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I always go send them back to the Bible. Sometimes I ask them, how much do you read the Bible? God tells you, especially in Proverbs, give you wisdom of what you should do, how you should craft life, which is great reading. I don't care what they say. If you, young man, you're bored with read Proverbs, and that give you a lot of wisdom. But taking on that responsibility, be able to say, yeah, I'm responsible. This is what I have done, and be able to correct it if it was the wrong direction or the wrong way you did it. So that's one of the things they're taking on responsibility. Okay. And not only just taking on responsibility, if something happens in life, I got a nephew, and when I found out this, him and this young lady dating, and they finna have a baby, long story short. So I asked him, I said, are you ready to take on responsibility? Are you ready to be a father? Do you have a job? If you don't, you got to get a job.
Right.
But when I bring it up, my dad always told me, well, son, if you get someone pregnant, you're going to get a job and you're going to take care of that child. So taking on responsibility is one of the things that they have to do.
Most definitely. Okay, guys. if you had to give some advice to a single mom to assist in her ensuring that her son is the building block to transition from a boy to a man, what advice would you give that single mom? And I'm gonna start with you, Derek. Okay, what advice would you give a single mom to assist her in ensuring her son gets the building blocks to transition from a boy to a man?
For me, it would be a two-part answer. The first is, as a single mother, do not allow a man into your life that you don't feel is a good example for your son, first
Most
and
definitely.
foremost.
Yep.
So if you allow
Yeah.
whoever you let into your house is going to eventually rub off on your son somehow, some way, indirectly or directly. So if you're a single mom, do not be involved with a man that is not a good role model for your son. And secondly, build a brotherhood, build a group of good men to place your son around. Put him in Boy Scouts or put him in something, a Big Brother program, something. Get him a specific mentor. You got to put him around men who are doing positive things. The one thing that I learned in life that is very key and very vital is the power of association. So if I had some advice to a single mother who is raising a son, be very careful of the association that you place your son into.
Okay. Good stuff. Most definitely.
Right.
Okay, Dr. Levette.
Well, Derek took one of my answers for sure. Was my first one was get him a mentor, whether it be an uncle, or some a man that you know that you can trust, like a deacon in the church, somebody that's trustworthy, and then our cousin, whatever it may be. The first thing I would say is definitely make sure that they have a mentor. To and to go along with that, don't. One of the things I wrote was that don't try to raise him to be a man from a woman's perspective, because you are not going to be able to raise him from your woman's perspective. You're not going to be able to raise him to be a man, and that's why we have a lot of different lifestyles, just because of some of those situations, and that's on both sides of the coin, raising boys and girls. But the main thing is getting them that mentor, like Derek said, get them in some program that can steer them in the right direction, and make sure that their upbringing is solid enough that when it's time for them to become a man, they have all of those tools and necessary skills to walk into manhood and be able to accept that responsibility and accountability.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Okay, Deacon Dan, what's your perspective on that?
Well, like one thing I say, getting this brotherhood. These a lot of boys, you don't believe it or not, they see that a man that they admire, and they want to be like them. Those are the kind of men that you put around them, so they can get that right teaching, to show them where they need to go and how they operate and how they got there. Because, we all started out the same way. But it's what that we had in our life that's got us towards becoming where we are. So yeah, find somebody, somebody that they admire. Yeah. And one thing, Derek, I do like to say, but I love that what he said about men's coming into these single mom got these men's coming in their life, and it ain't the right one. I was give a for example. I was working for doing some work for a single mom. I kept thinking the name of the dog. This is a big old dog. He's black. He's big dog. I mean, he's standing about 3 foot tall, right? Oh, really dog voice.
Great Dane.
No, he don't Great Dane. He got a head on him like this, and a big old pointed ears. But make a long story short, I was just joking with her, but it was a thought that I had. She was talking about one of her friends said she need to put the dog down, because the dog didn't like him. I said, no, that dog got plenty of sense. That dog trying to tell you ain't the one, my owner, because I walked in Me and the dog got good friends, you know. She had him in a cage at first, and he did bark every now and then. But she said, "Are you scared of dogs?" I said, "No, not really." She let the dog out. The dog came up to me. I pat him on the head, and he walked around freely, no problem with him. But when I got ready to leave, the dog just, this dog sat on my feet, you know. And the thing strange about it, I just work for the whole family. They got 5 of these dogs,
Right.
you know. And I did one for the mom and the mom and the daddy got one apiece, and the mama dog is a girl, and this dog humongous, but she loved to play.
Right.
And I'm doing some electrical work, and this dog bring me his toy, you know. So I asked the mom, I said, "What is?" She said, "He wants you to play with it, with her." So I took the toy out the mall. He look at it, and I toss it. He just loved that. He go grab it and come bring it back. I said, "Well, I got to finish my work." But no, believe it or not, like I said, finding one man you got that, they're responsible. They admire, and they want to be like them one day, you know. And that particular guy, if he is, I would say, conscientious of wanting young men to be worthy and do it, he'll work with them
Right.
so they can achieve that. Whether the mother and they still good friends, or are they dating, whatever it is, so it can be achieved. But that's one of the things that I would tell a single mom. Make sure she got somebody that their sons admire. Put them around people that they admire, that are going in the right direction.
Good stuff. Good stuff there. And just to add to that, I would say that, they should be able to support, facilitate, their relationship, their son's relationship with their dad. If their dad is a good man, make sure that they support that and push them in that direction, because a lot of people tend to not do that because of selfish reasons and things that they're going through, and they tend to shut out a good man to their son because of how they're feeling. And I'm saying this because it is a big thing. And a lot of times you got a lot of good men out there that would do good for their son, don't get that chance to do that. So
Right.
I would say, if you are a single mom, and that your son's dad is a good man, no matter what relationship you guys are having, make sure that they get into their father's life and their father's into their life, and maybe they'll be able, to help their son become, a man and a good man, So that's something that I would do, or I would say, to a single mom. Okay, guys. Lastly, but not least, if you could change one aspect of your boyhood, hinder your transition to building your best life into manhood, what would that be? If you could change one aspect of your boyhood that hindered your transition into building your best life into manhood, what would that be? And I'm going to start with you, Derek. I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Now, I just thought about this. And for me, going from a boy to a man, if I would have just forgave my parents,
Wow.
it would have helped me transition into being a man a whole lot faster. Because, and this is not to talk bad about my parents, because my parents weren't really involved in my life growing up, especially in my younger days. I was actually raised by my grandmother. And I grew up with the idea that my parents didn't care about me, that my parents didn't love me. So for me, it was a certain level of inadequacy, self-conscious, to the point where I was like, if the two people who brought me into this world and supposed to care about me the most don't give me what I need as far as to help me mature as a man, or from a young boy to a man, then I was lost. But if I was ever when I got to the point where I was able to forgive my mother and my father, especially my mother, because when I got to that level, I understood that my mama never had it either. So she could never give me something that she never possessed. And so with that's what really took me to the level of first emotional intelligence. but just actually being able to step into, I'm a father too, step into the place where I was able to be a good father, just a good person individually, was being able to forgive the the absence of my parents when I was younger.
Okay. Good stuff there. Good stuff. All right, Deacon Dan, if you could change one aspect of your boyhood that hinder your transition to become the best, building your best in your life, what would it be? What would it be?
You know, looking back in my boyhood, I don't think I could change anything.
Okay.
You know, because I had a great boyhood. I had a father, a caring mother, grandmother, uncles. You know, and I just don't see where I would change anything. Because one thing they taught me how to love. I was taught how to do different things. Some I say some parents, some where some men and some parents, the boy shouldn't be learning how to clean up. This is a woman thing. No, that's something they taught me. Mama taught me how to clean up, cook. Daddy taught me how to cook. Daddy taught me how to do different uh, things around the house, and it was the demand on that. So I don't think I just couldn't consider anything because to me, I had a great, raising, great parents.
Good. Good. That's good. A lot of people can't say that. You know what I'm saying? So that's excellent. All right, Dr. Levette, what would you change?
Well, in a slight way, I agree with that. With I was going to say, well, I agree with
Dr.
Dr.
Dan?
Dan. I call him Dr. Dan anyway. But I
That's
agree.
right.
I agree with Deacon Dan as well. I wasn't necessarily. I didn't have a hindrance, but I would. But there were things that impacted me as I was growing into being a boy, like modeling bad influences that was modeled before me, things of like in like on one side of side of my families, they drink a lot. They were drinking and drinkers and smokers and all of that. And guess what happened to me when I went into the army? I was
Okay.
drinking, I was smoking, smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, drinking alcohol excessively. And so I would want to say, that's one aspect of me that I would have wanted to do better or do different, because it did impact me to a point that it when so being that I'm in a second marriage, in my first marriage, I wasn't really prepared to be a man, to be that man in marriage, because I was impacted by influences, and because of those things I did, going out clubbing and all of that type things, because I did those things, it caused me, it kind of impacted me, but I still had I had good mentors. I had uncles also they were good men of God. They were good men, and they taught me how to be a man. I had my father, but of course my father had a stroke at the age of 48. I think I was only 15, 16 years old. So at that time he had that stroke. It's certain things he wasn't able to share with me and teach us like he wanted to. But then I had my uncles who stepped in, my mom's brothers, they stepped in, and even my dad's brothers. As they got older, they got wiser. So then they started teaching me not to make those same mistakes that I saw them doing when I was a young kid. So yeah, that's the one thing that I would just say is not model the influences that you see. Just model those people who mean you well, and don't feel like you have to do those things to become a man.
Okay. That's great stuff. And I hope everybody, that's listening today, you know, please take heed to everything that these men have just put out today, because everything that they're saying is something that's very, very important and very crucial, to a boy, becoming a man. And I want to leave with this right here. Okay. This is what I say. A man plans for the future. Okay. He lives in the present, but in doing so, he aligns his behavior to his future aspiration. That's a man. A boy lives in the present for his own short term. And what I mean by that, and I know all of y'all can attest to that, The men that's out here, that's been out here for a while, they work hard for everything that they got. You know, these young kids nowadays, they want what you got now. They don't want to work for it. They see, you know, the fruits of your labor, but they want it now. And they're not willing to go, you know, that extra mile to try to get what you got and work hard to get that. So that's all I want to, you know, just put out there. And in saying that, you know, this has been a great session today, a great conversation. You know, I appreciate each and every, you know, last one of y'all today, you know, for coming out here on this Saturday and doing this. This is a great platform. And I am praying so much that this gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and everybody start watching this, because this will make a big difference for a lot of single moms that's in this world, and not just single moms, dual, you know, parents as well, you know, to watch this platform. And I want to thank again Coach Deborah Smith for having us on and having me host. And with saying that, make sure y'all go out and get this book. Get this book, Build Your Best Life, by Coach Deborah Smith. This is a platform and a roadmap to everything and anything that you need to find out to put your kid and your son on the right road to becoming successful. I want to say thank you again. And hopefully we can do this again, you know, next month, second Saturday of the month. And I'll see you guys again. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Derek, you're great, man. You're great. Straight, great fit, you know, for this conversation. And, you know, I just hope to see every last one of you. Dr. Lavelle, good seeing you again.
Hey.
Dr. Dan, good seeing you again. And we will see you again next month. Stay blessed and safe. And just remember, build your best life. We out.
I got one other thing before we knock it out.
Like and share.
You see these gentlemen here, audience? If you have a question, once we gone, send it to Coach Deborah Smith. You know, address it, and make sure, you know, that we look at it. I mean, we got a variety of age here. You know, yes. I love it. There was Derek sitting right there. Variety of age. Mm-hmm. So if you got a question and you miss something, send it to Coach Deborah Smith, and she'll get it to us, and we'll make sure we can get it answered.
Great stuff. Most definitely.
Like and share. Make sure you share this. This is powerful.
Right.
It needs to get out to the world.
Yes. And if anybody's out there that's watching this and you have connections to get this to a bigger and wider audience, please do so. Because this is very, very important. We're losing a lot of good men, young men out there, because they do not have that roadmap. And by them and their parents or who's ever watching this platform, it's a wealth of knowledge right here. Okay? So again, in saying that, get this book. It's on Amazon. It's probably on Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. But just check it out. Just put in Coach Deborah Smith and put in Build Your Best Life. You know, go to Google or whatever, and it'll come up. And wherever you can get it, make sure you get it. Y'all have a beautiful and blessed Saturday, and we'll see y'all again next month.